I am Ragnar Tørnquist. I'm the creative director of Red Thread Games.
Oh, you're kind of famous, aren't you?
Yeah. So who the hell are you? You're not famous,
no,
are you?
No, I'm not famous.
No.
Dag Scheve. I've been working with this guy for 12, 13 years now.
Writing?
Writing. Did the previous game in this series, Dreamfall. And then we worked on The Secret World together.
That's right.
And now we're doing this.
Now we're doing Dreamfall Chapters, which is a sequel to Dreamfall and also part of the Longest Journey saga. Longest Journey was a game that came out in 2000 in the US, and the sequel Dreamfall came out in 2006, so it's been a while since the last game. So we're picking up the story now 8 years later in development time, but a year later in story time. So Dreamfall Chapters is a narrative game. It's a game about choice and consequence. It's a game all about the story. It's a game set in two worlds, Stark and Arcadia, a world of science and a world of magic. And you get to play different characters, you know, having intertwining stories in these two worlds. And it's a story that's deep and complex. You don't have to have played the previous games to get it. We're going to have sort of a recap at the beginning of the game and reintroduce the characters, but it helps if you played. You'll get a little bit more out of it if you played Longest Journey and Dreamfall. But it's been a while since we made the previous game, so the challenge for us has been to sort of meet all those expectations. 8 years of, like I said, pent-up frustration.
We have to, do the very best we can and make sure that it's a great experience for everyone.
Yeah. Yeah, so when we made Dreamfall in 2006, we fully expected to be able to continue and finish the story within a couple of years.
It was designed to be a two-part story as
well.
Yeah, so exactly. It was always the intention to make another game and for it to come out relatively timely, in a relatively timely manner after the first one.
But then we went off, and the whole development team went off to do The Secret World, an MMO. And that team grew, and time passed, and 6 years later we did release Secret World. But you know, at that point we really felt it was time to do Dreamfall Chapters. But our challenge is that Funcom, who we used to work for, they're focused on online games, and we wanted to do, you know, Dreamfall Chapters obviously as a single player game. So we set up a new studio, Red Thread Games. We got the license from Funcom to continue telling games in the Longest Journey universe. And we went off, and from absolutely nothing we created a Kickstarter campaign to get the money to make the game. We're lucky enough to get some grants as well from the Norwegian government. Socialism, yes.
That's you got that in there.
Yeah, I did get that in there.
Very good.
And you know, a lot of personal investment from the founders of the company too, in time and money, and then, you know, our dedication. So it's been it was definitely a challenge and touch and go at the beginning, but you know, the day we launched our Kickstarter, we're sitting there like we have no idea how this is going to go, but within 10 minutes of the campaign launching, we were, you know, just going like this. And we went out to lunch, came back from lunch, we were at $100,000, and we were like, this is probably going to go okay. Yeah. So it's
and it dawned on us that we actually had to make the game as well.
Then we were like, oh crap, yeah, we have to make the game. No, that was a great feeling. That was a wonderful feeling, and since then it's actually been pretty smooth sailing. We've been lucky enough to have some really solid tools with Unity that we're using. Everybody's using Unity now.
Super experienced people.
Super experienced
people.
The
previous titles.
Exactly.
Everybody knows exactly what we're doing, what we're making.
So we've been really lucky. We haven't really hit any big snags along the way. We are doing some brand new stuff with the online functionality tied to the choices you make, and also in having a story that has so many branching possibilities. That's definitely been a challenge. We also had some ideas for, you know, fancy mechanics in the beginning that we said, no, we're going to pare those down because the game is about the narrative and the storytelling. And what we left with is a game that is all about the story, but it's all the, you know, it's all the better for it. It's a game that we feel is really gonna be the best game in the saga so far.
Yeah, and I mean that's one big part of the challenge too, is that we're all perfectionists. We want to make this look just a little bit more beautiful. Just you know, everything's just a little bit better, and that's obviously a challenge. But that's a challenge we face every time we're trying to make a game.
And it's great fun doing it.
Yeah.
Yes, I mean we're definitely focused on Dreamfall Chapters right now. But once that's out the door, we do have one more story to tell in the Longest Journey universe, and that is the Longest Journey home. which will pick up where the longest journey ended, and
to see some of what happened because there's a 10-year gap between the longest journey and Dreamfall, so there's
something to be told there. So we don't want to reveal too much, but in that game we're planning on going back to 2D or something, not quite 2D, but we have some ideas that we're not going to talk about quite yet. But
it's a bit too early to talk too much about that game.
And
it's definitely something we want to do.
We want to do it, but of course it's never a sure thing. We want to focus on Dreamfall Chapters now. But yeah, it's on the list of things we'd really like to do.
To-do list.
On our bucket list.
Bucket list.
The longest journey was a long game. I think for most people it took close to 30 hours to play. Dreamfall, on the other hand, was reasonably short. You could definitely play through that game in 10 hours. I know some people spent longer, but there wasn't that much stuff to do aside from the main storyline. So a lot of people felt maybe that was too short. I mean, personally, I'm a fan of games that are less than, I think 10 hours is pretty long, because you're telling a story that's basically a season of Game of Thrones, and that's a long story. That's a sizable story. So with Dreamfall Chapters, we're aiming at something that's closer to Dreamfall than Longest Journey. I also think our players are getting older. They don't have as much time. And younger people have more choice in terms of games as well. They might not want to play one game like this, a story for more than 10-12 hours. And that's sort of our target. In terms of DLC, we don't have any. The plan for Dreamfall Chapters now is to finish the Zoe story. There's nothing like right now. That's our main focus. Whatever we do beyond that is for the future.
No, we can't talk too much about that because we don't know.
We don't know, and we just want to focus on telling Zoe's story and finishing that story. That's all we care about. And anything else, we'll take it as time comes. But anybody who has backed us or gotten the game or is backing us on PayPal right now, they will get Zoe's story, and it'll be a good story, and it's going to be 10-12 hours long, and that's what we're doing. That's our focus. Don't be boring. No, I think maybe Dreamfall broke a few of the design rules of the Longest Journey. Dreamfall had a little less magic, had a lot less stuff to look at in the world, fewer conversations, shorter conversations. So I think we've gone back and said we want more magic, and magic not just in magic fireballs, but magic in terms of a world that feels slightly magical.
And that also feels more or deeper and more inhabited than has more history.
More history, as you see the scratches on the surfaces.
We have so much material that we've written and done over the years. So this universe is extremely full and complex, and we want to show that off as much as we can. We want to get people as into it as we are.
Yeah, but I think one of the strongest design rules is that story trumps everything. So every decision we make on gameplay, on challenges in the game, is always dictated by: would the characters do this? Does this make sense in the story? Is this going to lead to a good place? And we never make sacrifices to the story because of gameplay, which is the opposite way of other people are doing. But we're saying sort of like, yes, we want good gameplay, obviously, but we're making the choices for the story.
And that's what these games are about. I mean, some games are about gameplay challenges and the ability to learn and get better at something, but that's not what these games are about. They're about the story and the characters, and whatever we do is to serve the story and the characters and the universe.
So if people want to learn more about Dreamfall Chapters or help us make the game by pledging to the production, they can go to dreamfallchapters.com. And we're still accepting pledges via PayPal, and every dollar helps make the game better. So yeah, we encourage people to take a look at the game, and if they like what they're seeing, then help us out.
Cool.
Got nothing to add to that?
I got nothing to add. There's cool stuff to be had. If you go
cool rewards.
Yeah,
and there's a game at the end of it.
And there's a
really good game at the end of it.